been granted, my friends, because in this week's episode of Dragon Ball Super, the universe survival arc officially begins, and it immediately kicks into high gear as Goku confronts both of the Zenos to get this tournament started. Arguably, though, I think the most amazing aspect of this week's episode has got to be the brand new opening, Genkai Toppa Survivor. It's easily, I think, my favorite Dragon Ball intro thus far. It's just so damned action-packed. There's so many brand new characters that they introduce, and another thing, it's kind of spoilerific, because they basically reveal all of the gods of destruction in this opening. Some of them are a little hard to see, but you can now at least make out what they are. And over the course of the last couple weeks, there have been a lot of teasers to what these guys were going to look like. They released a trailer which revealed that some of the gods of destruction were going to be outright strange. Robots, foxes, and clowns. But there's even more weirdness added to it in this episode. Apparently one of them is a mouse. I'm guessing this guy is that one little teeny god of destruction that we saw in the trailer who was slightly obscured. It's also officially confirmed that that Egyptian-looking woman is indeed an Egyptian-looking woman. But I think it's awesome that we actually do have a female god of destruction because, as it is, the gods of destruction is basically just a big frat house. It's a sausage party. But then we also have this other new guy who apparently is like a merman. That's what he looks like to me. Like, he looks like a half-man, half-fish god of destruction. And right next to him is this weird, indescribable alien-looking creature. I don't even really know what to compare it to in real life, but I like it because we have a lot of really weird and varied-looking gods of destruction. We also get another good look at all of the different angel attendants as well. Basically, they're all variations of Whis and Vados. Some are tall, some are fat, some are thin, some have a lot of crazy hair, some have it slick back Wesker style. They all look completely different, but I have a feeling they're probably all going to be the sons and daughters of the Great Priest, who also has a pretty important role in this episode as well. But we also get to see some more of the fighters which are going to be participating in this tournament. And there's one shot where you get to see a lot of them all together. And judging by the characters that are actually there, I'm guessing that these are the fighters from Universe 6. And if you miss it, and it's very easy to miss, you can actually see that Hit's face is at the bottom corner there. So it looks like Hit's going to be a part of that team. Magetta is also there as well, the fighting robot. And there's also a ton of new characters, like this weird fox-looking creature, another weird animalistic furry type thing. There is also this other fighter who I swear to God looks like freaking Kano from Mortal Kombat, like he has a glowing red eye. It's really damn weird looking. You have that weird female Majin Buu thing that Vegeta is going to be fighting against, or at least in the opening. And then you also get a shot of this one character who looks like he's probably going to be the most important character of this arc. And he's basically this big, buff-looking alien. In fact, he kind of looks like what would happen if Jacko was on steroids. And his uniform is really simple. It's just like black and red, and he's just super buff and powerful. But the actual opening opens up with Goku fighting against this guy, and it's fast-paced, it's super impactful, and it's got me excited to see what they're going to do for the action in this show. Bringing it back to the classic Dragon Ball Z levels of pure destruction, speed, and just badassery. And you get to see them fighting throughout like most of the actual brand new opening. It opens up with them. Then towards the end, Goku is going into his Super Saiyan Blue form. They're trading blows, hitting each other left and right. And there's even a shot where Goku actually seems like he might go through a brand new transformation, or maybe using like an upgraded version of the Kaioken, where he's suddenly surrounded by all of this red ki energy, and some of it dissipates for a second, and you see his face, and then he just cuts right through it as he starts to go after this big brand new alien character. I honestly do believe that this big buff alien guy is probably from the Clown God of Destruction's universe. The only reason I say that is because in the preview for the next episode, as well as for the trailer they released, when they showed that Clown God of Destruction, he was also joined by this mysterious fighter covering himself in a cloak with white gloves. That kind of fits the description of this big buff alien that we're seeing here, which means this is going to be an important character, and that Clown God of Destruction is someone that we need to look out for. Also, during the scene where you actually get to see that big buff alien and some of the other, like, people from his universe, like I said, you get to see the Kano guy with a red eye. There's also this weird, big, buff red alien with a bushy mustache. And there's also this one that is very obscured in the corner and covered with shadow, which I'm not sure what it is, but it actually kind of looks like Beerus a little bit. It might even be something that is like the same species as Beerus and Champa. I just see big purple ears. But it's obscured in shadows, so this could be something else entirely. It also kind of reminds me of like a humanoid bat. mostly just because of the big ears. But you can tell that just from the intro alone, there's just so many things to see, and it's just so exciting to get about all of it. I want to do discussion videos about like every single individual character here, just to sort of try and break them down as much as I can. And I really hope that as this arc goes on, they spend a lot of time actually developing them and make me care about them. Oh, and of course, the shots of Kabe and Frost and the female Super Saiyan are there as well. The female Super Saiyan might actually be from the same universe as that big buff alien. We're just going to have to wait and see, but man, what a great intro. The song itself is also just really, really great. It pumps me up a lot. Not only that, but just the shots of the main characters are fantastic. Just getting to see characters like Krillin and Tien and Piccolo joining the ranks of Goku and Vegeta is frankly just satisfying as hell. The shot of them all doing the slow walk together is really fantastic, and they're clearly going to be a part of the actual team that's going to be getting involved in this tournament. So, now that I'm done talking about just the amazing intro, let's talk about the episode, which in and of itself was just sort of a slow start into this brand new arc, but it is going to get the gears moving. Also, it is worth mentioning that the art style has changed oh so slightly, and honestly, I think it's for the better. Most people aren't going to notice it, but the lines, the outlines of the characters seem to be a little bolder, a little thicker, a little darker, and the colors themselves are also a little more muted. And you know what? I think this was a great decision. Not only does it look a little closer to Dragon Ball Z, but I like the color decision, because a lot of the times in the older episodes, I thought the characters were too bright and too shiny, and honestly kind of plasticky looking, or almost as if someone sprayed them with like some frigging oil. Here, I just think it looks a lot better, and if they can make the action look as good as it does in the intro of the show, then I'm pretty damn sold on this one right here. But this episode right here was basically just getting back into the swing of things, with Goku living his normal life, harvesting his vegetables, selling them so that he can make some money for Chi-Chi so she'll stop nagging him and he can get some freaking training done. But honestly, I like this episode because we get to see Goku being a family man, even hanging out with Goten, which is something that doesn't happen too often. He actually decides to bring Goten along with him on this little trip to go see Vegeta to see if he wants to do some training with Whis. But Vegeta has bigger things on his plate because Bulma is pregnant. This was something that was sort of given away in the preview from last week's episode, and I was really hoping they weren't going to do it. But apparently, she's going to eventually have her daughter from the series, more popularly known as Bulla or Bra. I don't believe that Goten and Trunks are going to have a very big role in this arc, but I do like the fact that they are going to be doing some training with one another. And Trunks is definitely acting like a little hero, just like his future self, because he wants to stay behind and make sure nothing goes wrong while his mother is going through this pregnancy, which seems to be pretty damn far along. I mean, there were no hints before that Bulma was pregnant before, and now she's already got, like, the whole Buddha belly thing going on, so it can't be too far away from this. And I also like this aspect of it because it's actually going to give some, like, tension for Vegeta. He's going to be constantly worrying about Bulma, who's going to be going through this pregnancy, or maybe even something bad happening to his brand new baby daughter. Either she's going to be born right before the tournament, or right after. At least that's the way that I'm looking at it. But either way, it's going to allow Vegeta to sort of like second guess himself a little bit and maybe give him something to overcome aside from just a really powerful enemy, which I think would be really important for his character. The rest of the episode, essentially, is just sort of being reintroduced to a lot of the old classic characters from the series, and the fact that Goku is sort of going through a little bit of that Krillin syndrome, which happened in the last couple of episodes. He actually stops these bandits who try to mess with him, but of course he just completely wrecks the world by kicking their faces into frickin' trucks, grabbing all of their bullets and flicking it back at them, and quite literally almost destroying this guy's spinal cord simply just by flicking him into a friggin' rock. But it's a really solid sequence. But the fact that he can be scratched by a bullet is very strange. Did anybody watch Dragon Ball when Bulma would just always casually pull out an Uzi and just completely unload on him? Was that just supposed to be played for laughs and we weren't supposed to take it too seriously? I don't know. The powers in Dragon Ball fluctuate all the damn time, but this definitely concerns Goku, and it concerns Beerus a little bit as well, and that's why they decided to go through a little bit of a training sequence, with Whis actually using ki blasts for once, like in a training sequence, which I think is important, but Goku's actually managed to knock it away, so he's definitely getting stronger. But Goku's also getting a little bored. He wants this tournament to happen, and he remembers that he has Zeno's little button. But this does not sit well with either Whis or Beerus. Beerus in particular. And there is a scene that is just so tension-filled that it's great, but it does have a little bit of levity to it, where Beerus gets so annoyed by Goku talking about Zeno and actually going to see him, that he gets up in his face, puts his palm right up to it like he's about to blast and destroy him, and that's when that tense music kicked in, and you could see that Goku was a little serious about this, and it was just weird seeing that Beerus would go to this lengths to try and get him to not go to Zeno. But Goku just flips the damn thing up in the air to trick them, picks it up again, and goes directly to both of the Zenos himself, who seem to be having a lot of fun with each other, playing some sort of weird intergalactic chess game where they casually destroy planets. That's just kind of the shit that they're into. Goku just casually walks up to the two strongest beings in the universe and basically eggs them on to make this tournament happen, and that's what's gonna go down. They're gonna set it up, they're gonna create these rules where 10 warriors from every single universe are gonna throw down in the ultimate contest. But of course, there's almost certainly going to be a catch to this, and they're probably going to reveal it in the next episode. In fact, this one ends getting to learn a little bit more about the rules as Goku, Whis, and Beerus go to see Supreme Kai, and then suddenly, the Grand Priest arrives, and he lets them know what's going down. As this week's episode ends, and I collectively pick myself up off the ground because I'm so damned excited. So, what's the rundown on this week's episode of Dragon Ball Super? This one was great. I have never been this excited for a Dragon Ball Super arc since the big tournament between Universe 7 and 6. And this one is arguably the greatest martial arts tournament that could possibly happen in the Dragon Ball universe. It can't get any crazier than this. And it's so perfect that it's a tournament because that's always been sort of like the cornerstone of the Dragon Ball arcs. It was built upon the concept of martial arts tournaments, and we've seen it go from Earth to the Cell games to Goku fighting in the afterlife, and now every person from every major existence of Dragon Ball is going to come together and fight. And most importantly, there's going to be 10 fighters per team, which means it's not just going to be the Goku Vegeta show. We're actually going to see favorite side characters enter the ring, and they all get teased in this episode as well as the intro, seeing the returns of the likes of Krillin, Tien, and Piccolo, Androids 17 and 18, not to mention Majin freaking Buu, and to top it all off, I think the cherry on top of this sundae is Master Roshi. So, the fact is, they're going to be fighting against some pretty awesome alien characters with superpowers, and it's going to be great. I can't wait to see how this whole thing is going to go down. I wonder how the rules of the tournament are going to go. Like, are we going to see just one-on-one battles with the individual universes? Is there going to be a bracket system? There's so much that I want to see, and I really hope that they don't gloss over the characters. I want to see every damn fighter in action. Every single one. Every universe. I'm sure there's going to be a Rocky montage where we get to see all of the battles happening really quick, but I don't want it to go down that way. I just want this to be a long, well-paced, super action-oriented arc, getting to see some amazing stories, and I'm sure there's going to be something else going on with this arc. With the introduction of all of these gods of destruction and all of their egos coming in and clashing with one another, there's bound to be some interesting development going on here. Not to mention there's the concept that Zenos might actually decide to start destroying these respective planets of the losers, something that has been hinted at in some of the trailers and some of the information released for the Universe Survival arc. That being said, guys, this episode was just hype as hell. I absolutely loved it. I especially loved the intro, which I watched 5 times in a row, just to absorb it, the music, the action, the visuals, and I loved it. It's really one of the best reasons to check out this week's episode, but it's also just going to reinvigorate your love for Dragon Ball when you're done watching this one. It feels like a classic episode, it feels like a natural progression, and really this is what Dragon Ball Super has been leading up to. This is something that people have been talking about since they actually decided to reboot this whole Dragon Ball thing. When they did the Battle of the Gods and they created the concept of multiple universes, I think everybody wanted to see, the fighters from those respective universes, maybe even see a tournament, and they're finally making it happen, and it's just so damned exciting, and it's being done with gusto and energy. You can feel it from the animation team. There's new music cues. Hell, there's even a brand new Midway title card, which I think is way more appropriate than the old one and sounds way less like a 1980s PowerPoint presentation. It just seems to be injected with a lot of manly epicness. And that's exactly why you should check out this week's episode of Dragon Ball Super. I loved this one. As a fan of the series, I could not be more excited, and I'm just anxious for more. Cannot wait for next week. 5 out of 5 from me. Check it out, Dragon Ball Super fans. If any of you have watched this week's episode, please tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. What did you think of the brand new opening? Was there anything I missed during my discussion of that? Did you have a favorite new character who showed up? What do you think of the Gods of Destruction and even the brand new ones that we got to see in this intro? And what do you hope to see from the Universe Survival Arc? What are your hopes, your dreams, and your favorite fighting matchups? Please tell me in the comments section. Thank you guys for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for everything Dragon Ball Super related, whether they be anime or manga reviews. You can also check out all the other anime series that we are reviewing. Please leave me a comment or two. I would love to interact with you guys, especially now that this brand new arc is beginning. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with all of your friends. I'll see you guys next time. And as always, stay dandy, baby.